You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
Come on, down, bitches. This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. The handsome son of a bitch to my right is Evo, and it is Tuesday night. We are recapping week 14 and taking a look at Thursday night into week 15. My guy, Evo, welcome in. Good week of football for you. I was very kind of mad again, but your boys get a win. You get a positive week in the picks. Life's got to be good on the other side. How are you doing?
It's nice that these picks are hitting, especially here late in the season. You know, they say December football, that's what makes or breaks champions going into the playoff season. And look, I'm trying to follow through with it here, making a late season surge to, do good things for the program.
Yeah, well, I took the overall season lead from me. You're 3 games over 500. You are on the up and up. There were some games that were very close. I thought could have gone either way. And then there was a couple games where I just let my heart get in front of my head. Known to happen. Browns fans are known to let that happen from time to time. That's why, people are up in arms about Deshaun Watson being on vacation after they bitched about Deshaun Watson being in the facility.
It is what it is. I think everyone's going to have their thoughts on Deshaun Watson going forward. None of them necessarily positive. So that's what you get when you piss off a whole group of people.
Yeah.
Rooting for a great fan base out there in Cleveland.
Well, it is a great fan base. It can be a great fan base. Hey, by the way, Cavs are good. Guardians might be good. Guardians news. They just got rid of their 2-time platinum glove second baseman. So that was cool. Great things happening out here in Cleveland sports. Let's go Cavs, baby. Come on, Cavs.
Please, for the love of God. Come on, Cavs.
That's how I feel right now. But on a positive note, this is like finals week. Shit's wrapping up. So I'm so glad this semester is winding down. I needed it. Fuck animation. It sucks. I'm not great at it. and it's also very, very hard. I'm glad I learned it, but man, it is not my thing. But on top of that, instead on the fuck animation train, let's also just send a shot at McDonald's right now. Fuck McDonald's.
Yeah, fuck McDonald's. You know, their burgers suck dick.
Yeah,
McChicken was
terrible
cool.
burgers.
McGriddle may be the greatest invention of the 20th century, but you know, fuck McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is trash. Anyways, man, we had a great week of football. Are we ready to start kind of recapping some of these games, or should we take a look at the junior circuit before we do that? We got college football playoffs. Got some big time matchups, big time names, and maybe a couple guys that we haven't heard of. Evo, games that stand out to you. Obviously, for me, Ohio State, Tennessee, big matchup for me. Rooting interest there for Ohio State. But for you, as kind of a more passive college football guy, until it comes to breaking down recruits, what are you excited for?
Look, it'll be interesting to see what happens with your Ohio State Buckeyes. Obviously, we're gonna have to talk about that in those games as they happen, because your head coach is probably playing for his job, right? Here, let's bring this up real quick. But I'm interested to watch Arizona State. I know that they're not here in the playoffs, but
Evo, this is not the right
this is
bracket.
not it.
Show. Nope,
F
I got
me.
F
me. Because you know what? Shame on the internet for not supporting me here. It is not the right one, because ASU is number 4 in the bracket. Yeah. And that's the one that I'm excited to kind of see.
If I show this, it's not gonna be able to be seen. Okay, so I will find another graphic while you continue to talk.
Oh, I got you.
Okay,
I got you. I found the right one. Can't let this happen.
you don't want to get got.
There we go. This one is correct, right?
This is the correct one. Yes.
Yeah, but either way, watching Ohio State, seeing how far they make it, if they can get past Tennessee, which Tennessee's got a good team. Oregon, obviously, really fucking good. And I know that Dylan Gabriel, that we're definitely going to talk about in the offseason. I know that you're kind of a fan of some of his play. He's one of the Heisman candidates. But look, you've got a tough road, as it should be in the playoffs, to make it to the championship. And you guys absolutely could make it there, but Ryan Day's time could be cut real short if they lose this first game to Tennessee. But guy that I'm looking forward to watching the game, I'm looking forward to watching, is Arizona State versus whoever. Guy that I think I just kind of invited you to get on.
Excited to watch.
Cam Scatabo, running back from Arizona State. I've seen some of his cut-ups on the TikTok and stuff like that. Dude's a little hit stick machine. Fan of his play. Just to go through some information here with Cam Scatabo of Arizona State, white running back, Peyton Hillis-esque,
unicorn,
5'11", 215. He played his first 3 years at Sacramento State, the Sacramento State Hornets. Sorry, thought it was like Wyoming or something like that. Incorrect in that one. But having a hell of a year. 263 rushes, 1,568 yards on the ground, 19 touchdowns. And then through the air, 37 receptions for 506 yards and 3 touchdowns. The guy can kind of do it all. He had a good year in 2022 as well, a little bit down in 2023. I don't know if there was injury there or whatnot, but obviously he was able to get up to a bigger level. He's got some cool cut-ups on the TikTok of him just kind of trucking over people. And he is convinced he's the best back in football. I'm not convinced he's the best back in football, because that's probably going to Boise State's Austin Jeanty, who's also up for the Heisman. And I think there's a good argument that he should probably get it. The dude is insane, lights out running back, Derrick Henry-esque style runner. You know, he's got the Frankenstein when he's standing there in the backfield, just arms down, that kids are starting to replicate and stuff like that on the field. He's a really good running back, really fun to watch. And that's what I like about this class. There's a lot of good running backs in this class. And so that's who I'm kind of watching, is Boise State and Jeanty, and then Scatabo with a great fucking name out there at Arizona State.
I'm excited to see some of this quarterback play. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this group. There are going to be day 2, day 3 picks where my Browns might be looking for a quarterback at that point. That's one of the things I'm most interested in. And then obviously rooting for Ohio State to go and kind of redeem themselves, because all things being equal, it would be really nice to beat Michigan, but to back it up, just to win a national title right after they won one, that would feel a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, I think that might be that might be Day's only chance of surviving, to be completely honest.
Oh, man. So. It would be tough. Like the amount of recruits that we would lose would be really hard on the program.
Yeah, very, very detrimental.
It would be. It would be very detrimental. But I mean, there's only so much detrimental things that can happen to the teams that I love. The Browns and the Guardians, potentially, based on the reports I'm hearing on the compensation we got in return, are continuing to break my heart day by day. Let's go Cavs. Are we ready to start talking some football? We're breaking down week 14. Recap.
Yeah, I think so. Look, the last thing to kind of note here is that Heisman competition. You have Travis Hunter from Colorado, Ashton Genty, Dylan Gabriel, and Cam Ward as your finalists. No Shadur Sanders, much to his chagrin. He thought he should have been looked at, but realistically, this is a really good group of guys. All 4 of them probably should be in this conversation with how they've played this year and how they've led their teams. To me, my pick is probably going towards Genty, because while Travis Hunter makes the most like explosive plays and things that you'll see on SportsCenter, Genty is just consistent record-setting pace of best running back in college football. He is literally carrying his team, Boise State, into this playoff. Like, that makes him, this is an MVP type of, trophy. And I feel like that's what he is to his team. He's the most valuable player on the field.
Yeah, so that's my exact argument as well. I'm a Genty guy. Give me him over Hunter. Hunter is explosive. He's going to be a great NFL player, regardless of position, I think.
It's going to be that. Look, when we get to draft time, that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, because he could easily be the number 1 pick taken in this draft. And you don't know
which one what you're getting.
Yeah, which guy you're going to get, because he's probably going to play both ways regardless, but he's going to lean towards either cornerback or wide receiver. But if he's looking for his financials, it's
all in the hands,
right? Like, that's the thing, is you don't know who the first pick's going to be, because we got so many teams that are fighting for that top spot right now. Some of them have issues at wide receiver, some of them have issues at cornerback, some of them have issues at both, and he could just fit a need for both places. But like, if Jacksonville were to get the top pick, they're obviously not going to go quarterback.
No,
I think they're going to stick with Trevor Lawrence, but they need defensive back help and they need wide receiver help. If for his future, the biggest money's at wide receiver. I feel like that's got to be where he goes, but they need that help at cornerback too. And you can't have the guy on the field 100% of the time. So that'll be an interesting conversation going forward. But we can talk about draft prospects.
Well, we can talk about Genty real quick, because do you think he's going in the first round?
Yes. I think he'll be a top 10 pick. Yep.
Okay. So I was going to also ask, listen, there's a lot of good running backs. This is a stacked running back class. Yes. Will we see more than one guy go? And is it possible we get a surprise and somebody goes above Genty?
I don't think anyone goes above Genty. There's a couple guys, the guy from Iowa, UNC's back. Forgive me, I don't have all the names down pat yet. I've been looking into these guys already, I got to admit. But Genty is by far and away the guy. Running backs in the first round are a little bit more of a rarity, unless you have a class that has guys like a Jahmyr Gibbs and I forgot his name out in Atlanta already because he didn't do diddly dick. Bijan Robinson. But like, when you have a class like that, those guys are worthy of first round picks. It makes sense why they would go there. But, with the devaluation of running backs in recent years, GMs aren't going to look at running back in the first round as often, unless they are a true blue chip type of guy, which Genty absolutely is. I don't know if there's another blue chip bell cow guy in this draft, but there's a lot.
Henderson, Quinshon Judkins.
Okay, Ohio State guys.
Hey, listen, both of those dudes are absolute studs. And you brought him up, Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
He is a big back out of Iowa.
Yeah.
This is a really good fucking class of running backs.
And as of right now, I think he's my number 2 back, Caleb Johnson. And I think that if there's another back in the first round, it'll be him, and it'll be towards the back end. I think, once you're starting to get into picks 28 and beyond, that's where teams can be like, this is a little bit more of a luxury pick type thing, depending on the talent that's there, obviously. But that's kind of where I could see that guy going. But it's probably going to be Genty. And then as of right now, that'll probably be it in the first round. But who knows? Like, we got to see how everything fully lays out, what the actual draft order is. It should be a good one because as of right now, we have all 32 teams with first round picks, which is nice. You don't get that every year. So we can actually do simulations, do real, draft analysis of all 32 teams. At least as of right now, until people start until teams start trading away their picks, which, I bet you there'll be some movers and shakers. I know that my Vikings are probably going to be hot-handed to move their first round pick because we have a first and like a third and a fifth. Like they want to, and that third is probably going to be a comp pick. So we want to move, get some picks recouped because as of right now, it looks like we're going to be picking towards that end of that first round.
Congratulations. I'm looking at high quality D tackle prospects and some offensive tackles.
Would you take that D tackle Graham from Michigan?
Yeah, 100%. He's a fucking dude. He is a damn good player.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what college you went to. Once you go to the pros, I don't give a fuck.
He was jumping off the tape last year.
From any college.
Yeah, looking at D tackles last year, I remember kept on being like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
He is a chip style D tackle. Fuck yeah.
Don't get me going on fucking draft picks because I got guys that I'm already starting to kind of get draft crushes for. That Penn State tight end, dude's going to be a fucking dog. Don't get me started. We got to get in the NFL. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night.
All right, let's do this. Are we stopping on Thursday night's game, or did we hit that good enough on Sunday? I felt like we did a pretty good job on the recap of that on Sunday.
Yeah, I think we did a good job at that.
Packers stink. Go Lions.
Look, I mean,
the Sunday games.
It came down to the Lions doing a pretty decent job there, like on defense, at least in the beginning.
Can we talk about people not understanding the rules of football, though? If I hear another fucking Packers fan complain about a knee being taken on fourth down, I'm gonna freak out. That is not a knee. That is the most copium things I think I have ever fucking seen. Yeah. If you have ever watched a football game in your life, that is not him taking a knee, and you should not get the ball back.
Yeah, it's like if a player falls down anywhere else on the field, they're not taking a knee. When there's a field goal, the holder is taking a knee. Should the play be called dead there? No.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
Packers fans, stop it. You're making yourselves look fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me. It's easy to blame the refs, right? They're an easy scapegoat. Yeah. A lot of times it's correct. This isn't one of them.
No. Yeah. The refs did not fuck that up. Had they blown the whistle, they would have fucked it up.
Yeah. But look, hey, props to the Lions for getting the win. Their defense with a whole bunch of Jags out there actually did a decent job. They are getting reinforcements back, though. They're getting several other defenders back this upcoming week, so that'll help bolster them a little bit. Still probably the best team in football. Just questionable because of all those injuries on defense, and if they encounter more injuries, it could be a problem.
Listen, they gave up a lot of points, but I'll tell you what, for a while, that defense looked like they were one of the most well-coached defenses in all of football. That first half, man, they played really fucking good football. But these guys are off the street. They got tired. This Lions coaching staff is exceptional. Every single one of those dudes should be up for assistant coach of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I believe that they are making their players believe. That's the biggest thing. If you have a positive attitude, you're going into this game thinking that we can be the best team in football. We are the best team in football. Even if we have guys going out there, we're going to be like the new fucking Patriots or Chiefs, where guys just fall into place and they do their job and they perform, like the mental aspect of it, you will start to play levels way above what your actual capabilities are. And I think that they're able to do that with those guys on the defense.
Yeah. All right, brother. Let's do this. Let's
All
roll
righty.
Sunday.
Absolutely. So we had a bit of a stinker. Jags and Titans. Jags get the win 10-6 over the Titans. Miserable game. The Titans, they're dumpster fire. I don't know what else to say.
I didn't show up, man. Like, after a lot of pretty decent performances, they just came out and laid an absolute egg. They were never really even in scoring position. They were okay between the 30s, between the 35s.
Yeah.
But they didn't possess the ball enough. They couldn't string anything together. The Jags didn't win this game. The
Jags were
kind of gave it to them.
It seems like the Jags were actively almost trying to throw it as well. Like it wasn't going good for the Jags. Mac Jones did not have a great day, 2 interception day. Like it looked like they were trying to let the Titans back in at the end, and the Titans couldn't overcome it.
No. The Titans score 6 points and then give up 10 fourth quarter points to a Jags team that is bereft of offensive talent and is out their franchise quarterback. It just a complete no-show. I think the Titans might be considering a coaching change. I don't know that they're 100% dead set. Maybe they're gonna give this coaching staff an opportunity to go out and draft their quarterback, because they're going to be in line to get somebody. But this is a terrible quarterback class. You've drafted quarterbacks the last 2 years. Or was it 1 year last year and then 2 years prior? I don't remember when.
Yeah, when Malik Willis.
Yeah. But that's a lot of quarterbacks recently. They're in a bad spot because they keep having these clunker games. Great performances, then absolute snooze fests. Hire an offensive coach. You get the best offensive line coach in all of football, and things are just not working out.
I think that they got good things going on the left side of the line. Latham, obviously a rookie, is going to take some time to develop. And then you got Skoranek, I believe, or not Skoranek. What's the dude from fucking Skoransky?
Skoransky?
I can't remember.
It's hard to fucking keep track of that.
But either way, you've got a good set of guys on the left side of the line. It's going to take more than a year with the new coaching staff to kind of come in and shake things up. But look, at the end of the day, Rand Carthen hasn't been the GM there very long. I don't think they're going to make a coaching change. One thing about Amy Strunk, the owner of the Titans, is that she's a very loyal owner to her people. It's why Vrabel was out. Vrabel being fired was kind of a surprise, and it's because the two of them were butting heads. It kind of happened after Vrabel went on the bye week for the Titans, his last year there, up to New England, was inducted in their Ring of Fame or Hall of Fame, whatever it is. And he started saying some kind of sideways things, which I completely agree with. But he was like, hey, Patriots fans, through your ups and downs, stand behind your franchise. You guys have better than most places out there. And Amy Strunk did not take things well. After firing their GM that year, they were looking at possibly Vrabel taking a lot of control, becoming that like team president, almost like a Belichick. And she already did not vibe with Vrabel. Rand Carthon, who she brought in, is her guy. Callahan, that was her guy that she wanted to bring in. Like, I feel like she's going to stick behind these people a little bit longer than she should. It was kind of a clean the house and expect that we're going to have to start kind of fresh. And without having his own quarterback there, I don't think Callahan's going to get fired with Levis. Levis is who he was kind of left with. And look, I don't know that they're going to go out and draft a quarterback this year because it's not a good class.
He's the guy that helped Joe Burrow ascend to another level, though, right?
Yeah, but he did that. He did that when they drafted Burrow when he was there. So, like this is the quarterback that was in his lap. He has to deal with him to an extent, and you've seen them kind of have their little blowups on the sideline. Like, I don't think they're the best of friends. I don't think he's necessarily Levis is his guy. Like, and I don't think they're going to go out and necessarily draft a guy this year unless they feel really good about it. They might be in the market to go after someone who could be a free agent. Like, or a trade candidate like a Kirk Cousins, something else. Like they might be looking for some sort of a bridge other than Will Levis, because I think that there's going to be a longer leash for Callahan than some might expect. But case in point, I think that they were definitely trying to clean house of some of the old and bring in the new. They signed Tony Pollard, who Tony Pollard had a good day yesterday. I think 108 yards rushing. But Tony Pollard is not Derrick Henry, right?
No.
Derrick Henry was signed for $8 million. Like, if you have to right now say, would you rather have Tony Pollard or Derrick Henry? I think everybody's picking Derrick Henry, and they cost the same amount. They got rid of Henry, who is a Titans legend essentially at this point, who I think could help or have helped develop a quarterback better, because he's someone that you can lean on way more than a Tony Pollard. Like, he would have been better in that situation, but they were trying to clean house. They're trying to start new and fresh. And if Amy Strunk has any semblance of understanding how to run an organization, she should know that it's not going to flip a switch in 1 year.
So a lot of the things that you were describing were a lot of the things that were being said about Jimmy Haslam not too long ago on this show, about it having to be her guy. Is that a winning formula? Is that something that Titans fans should be excited about?
I don't know. But it depends. It works in some ways. I mean, you see, like, the Steelers have stuck with Tomlin when we had conversations on this show of should he be fired, and they have stuck it out with him, and they get winning seasons every year.
Every fucking year.
Like, you saw that for years and years and years with Belichick. You see certain franchises stick behind their head coaches. We saw it in Baltimore with Harbaugh. There was talks about Harbaugh possibly not making it for a while, but he's consistently putting together good squads. You got to ride with your coach through the bad times and the good times if you know you got a good one. If they truly think they got a good one in Callahan, which I think that they might, like, I think him and his dad as a combo is a great combo. What was done with Burrow up there in Cincinnati was great. Like, I see the benefit of sticking with a coach for 3 years unless you start to have incredible implosions, a la what happened down in Jacksonville with their old coach. Right. You should probably stick through. And them going out, like I said, I don't know that they could draft a quarterback this year just because it's not a good class. You can probably find kind of a bridge guy in between. But if they go out not next year but the year after and draft a quarterback, because they're still going to probably be bad, that buys them even more leash. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So I'm going to pop up the picks here from this week. I wanted to pass over these, but I can't do it. I went 6-7. My morning slate was bad. The Browns did not do me any favors. We'll talk about that game here, I'm pretty sure, coming up very shortly. Raiders, I thought I had a chance. The Titans, we just talked about. They laid a fucking egg. Panthers, we both had. The Vikings, we both had. The Jets, I'm glad that I got that extra point before fucking kickoff happened. That was clutch. I thought they were going to win that game. We'll talk about that as well. Giants did me good. Just not enough points. Cardinals laid an egg. Man, the Bears laid an absolute fucking egg. Crazy game between the Bills and the Rams. You get that one. I changed your mind, and you went with the Chiefs, and it cost you.
Yeah.
And then we both got the Bengals. I went 6-7. You went 8-5 on the season. I am 103, 104-1. You are 105, 102-1, hanging right around that 50% mark.
Yep. And that hook got me on this next one, that Dolphins-Jets game.
Yeah.
6-point difference, and it was 6.5. That was a tough one there for me. But Dolphins get the win. They actually come back. The Jets looked like they were winning it, and the Dolphins came back, took it to overtime, ended up getting the win. I thought I had won that game, but they got the touchdown and didn't kick the extra point. That was just it. Yeah. I thought the extra point was still happening, and so I was fucking stoked. I thought that was mine. But unfortunately, overtime kicked me in the nuts there. Either way, Dolphins get the win. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are downtrodden.
Choke artists. That's what they are. They're fucking choke artists.
Well, they definitely don't have the clutch gene anymore.
My goodness, dude, this team was up the majority of the game. They controlled this game, and then they let it just kind of fall apart in the fourth quarter. They don't get the ball in overtime, which I fucking hate that rule. But this is several weeks now that we have watched this team collapse late in games. Now, we've talked about the Ravens having those struggles, but the Jets are not good enough to overcome. They don't build leads big enough to have fourth quarter struggles. This team is a group of fucking choke artists right now.
And offensively, it looked like they were having a pretty decent day. Nothing too special on the ground, but I mean, you're missing Breece Hall. It's difficult. But Braylon Allen's shown to be a competent back. Still 83 yards on the ground is not a terrible day rushing, but Aaron Rodgers didn't have a bad day statistically. You had Devontae and Garrett Wilson both putting up over 100 yards. It's just they allowed the Dolphins, that defense allowed the Dolphins to storm back and get this win. Look, Jalen Waddle is showing up again out of nowhere. He's getting tons of targets, 12 targets to him, 14 to Tyreek. Waddle was 1 yard short of going over 100, and Tariq was over 100. Like, good days for both of those dudes. The Dolphins aren't going out quiet. They still have a chance at this point.
They're fighting. Yeah. They absolutely are fighting. They're one of the AFC is about locked up, with the exception of the Dolphins, I think.
Yeah, looking here at the AFC right now, Dolphins are the 9th spot right now at 6-7, tied with the Colts, who are in the 8th spot. Obviously, they got to get up to the 7th seed, but you have the Broncos, Chargers, and Ravens, and Houston. What's that?
That's 2 games between them and the Broncos, though, right?
Well, it's 2 games between them and Broncos, Chargers, Ravens, and Texans. That's a lot of teams that are still, you can see a lot of movement here at the end. If one of these teams has a complete fall off and the Dolphins make a run, they could be seeing themselves in. Obviously, it's for a wild card spot. They're not going to be matching up there with the Bills at all.
All right. There's a lot of teams that have been eliminated at this point of the season. The Dolphins are not one of them. However, I think we're about to talk about a couple of eliminated teams if we're going off the same schedule here.
The next game that I got up is my game.
Okay, never mind.
That one.
All right, so we're working off different sheets of music. Go ahead, lead it, brother.
All righty. Falcons, Vikings. Look, I said that I was excited for this game. I thought we were going to win by more than a touchdown. It was close for a little while. Kirk was throwing the ball decent, and then he got popped. And after he got popped, he kind of looked like he'd have good throws here and there, but then he was throwing up some of his normal junk. Look, man, it was a very, very, very fun game for me to watch. 42-21. It felt like back earlier in the season when we got the win over the Texans and the 49ers. Like, I was like, holy shit, this team looks really good. We were cooking, man. Like, the run game was really good for the Falcons, and it feels like we let them get away with that in order to let Kirk, when he threw, we just took advantage of it. Got the turnovers from untimely turnovers on the return. It was a fun game to watch, man. 21 points there in the fourth quarter, seeing Jordan Addison get 3 touchdowns, JJ get 2 touchdowns, Sam Darnold having himself a fucking day. The crowd going nuts for him. Like, it was really fun to watch. I look back on the show to when it was initially talked about the possibility of Sam Darnold coming to Minnesota. And I remember your comments and being like, you sure you want that? And I was like, But I mean, like, I trust KOC, and we're going to go out there. Like, I was like, Sam at most is going to be a bridge, and we're going to get a rookie.
Those questions were warranted because you had very similar questions about Sam.
Absolutely.
Until he was getting ready to come to the Vikings.
Absolutely. But like, I could be bought into the whole idea of, hey, he spent time under Shanahan. KOC has gotten the most out of a Nick Mullins and out of Josh Dobbs and stuff like that. Like, and I trust our coach to be able to rehab quarterbacks. And look, for $10 million, he is the biggest bargain in the NFL as of this point. Like, he's tied for 6th in the completion percentage at 68%, 6th in passing yards in the NFL, 2nd in touchdown percentage, 3rd in touchdowns, tied for 6th in the amount of interceptions that he has, 6th best, 4th in yards per attempt, and tied for 2nd best record in the NFL, leading this team right now at 11-2. He's drastically outperforming. Again, $10 million per year. Yes, it's only a 1-year deal, but The only other guys who were starters this year who are making less than him are, and this list is mostly rookies here. You got Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, who's still on rookie contract, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and then I put Jacoby Brissett in here, even though he's not starting anymore. It's Drake May, but he was brought in there to be the starter, at least initially. Bo Nix, and then your guy, Jameis Winston, who wasn't signed necessarily to be the starter, but he absolutely is the starter at this point.
Yeah.
Those are the only people making less money that are in starting roles than Sam Darnold right now. And he's probably worked himself into a $40 million per year contract at this point.
That is absolutely correct. I believe that somebody is going to pay Sam Darnold. I believe that person better know exactly what kind of system they're going to run.
That's the thing.
Darnold best.
I have been hard on the train of thank you for your work, Sam Darnold. We'll see you on your way. It's okay. JJ McCarthy is our future. JJ McCarthy was essentially beating him in the camp battle.
Right.
But KOC wanted to sit McCarthy to allow him to not be thrust into a situation, let him develop, which is a good thing. And then it just turns out that McCarthy goes down with a knee injury, and Sam Darnold is basically a top 5 quarterback right now in the NFL. It puts us into a weird situation.
The rookie goes down and Sam Darnold doesn't have any pressure.
I don't know, because I think that they told Sam in the first place it's no pressure. Like that they weren't going to look at starting McCarthy.
Say it's no pressure, but Sam's been around the league for a while, bro. He's not stupid. You got a rookie quarterback that's healthy. He's going to play.
I think that they probably had told him you're going to be the bridge. Like what he's going to come in knowing that he's going to be a bridge quarterback. So if you've already got that knowledge, like it's not about the guy breathing down your neck. It's about put up your best resume as long as you can, so that way we can rehab your career and get you a job. Even if we were to switch to McCarthy after our bye week, like if Darnold's doing good and the intent is to switch to McCarthy or something like that, like he's here to better himself, and he's absolutely done that.
He has, for sure. Somebody's going to pay him. They got to. I'm telling you got to have Sam in the right system, and I think you agree with me.
Absolutely. So that's the thing is, like I said, I've been hard on the camp of McCarthy next year and roll with McCarthy going forward. But after this game, it's kind of undeniable that the question has to be asked, should the Vikings consider bringing him back? I'm not a fan of the Packers model and what Atlanta's doing, where you pay a quarterback big money while you have a rookie around and let the rookie sit there and waste their contract. But I mean, look, it depends on realistically how well this year does go for Darnold. We are going to go to the playoffs at this point. I don't know that there's a way that we can not go to the playoffs with our record.
I think you're locked in, aren't you?
If he, we technically are not locked in. We hit 2 of the 3 things that we needed in order to achieve a wild card spot for sure. After this week, I mean, obviously we'll see, but yeah, but look, at this point, like we would have to have an insane downfall for the rest of the year to not make the playoffs. Regardless, like if we get to the playoffs and it's one and done and Sam doesn't look good, I think that kind of helps us ease him out the door. But if he takes us to the NFC Championship, look, if he has 4 weeks in the playoffs like he had his last 4 weeks, it's going to be tough to see a guy that's taking to the NFC Championship or to the Super Bowl and let him walk out the door.
I believe I asked you this very specific question. Like, if Sam balls out, is there that conversation that he could come back? I believe at the time you're like, no, it's for sure. We're turning it over to McCarthy. That's the plan.
I want to, but I have to entertain the conversation, especially after this last week and how well that he did. And like you said, he has to know the situation that he's going to. Look, if the Vikings were to offer him, and this is definitely lowballing at this point, I think, but if they're offering him like $36 million a year for 3 years and 2/3 of that guaranteed, and then the next team is offering, the Titans are offering him $40 million a year for 3 years, should you really split hairs over that $4 million a year to go somewhere that's a terrible franchise?
Know what your guaranteed money is, because he can go get more guaranteed money from Tennessee and suck, and then
maybe. But that's the thing is like he knows that at some point in time that we want to turn the keys to the car over to McCarthy by staying here. But he also knows KOC has completely revitalized his career. The conversation around Darnold has completely changed from him being a joke to being realistically potentially in the MVP conversation. I don't think he should win MVP. Let me be very clear about that. But like people are talking about like he is, and this isn't just me, this is actual national pundits being like, right now, it's why would Jared Goff be looked at as an MVP over Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold's beating him in like almost every statistical category outside of his record. Like Jared Goff has less interceptions, but like they both had one stinker game the same week. Sam Darnold throws 3 interceptions versus the Jags. Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions that week. Like that was a fucking wonky week in the NFL. But like he's beating him in almost every statistical category. Jared Goff is being talked about as a potential MVP along with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley. Why shouldn't Sam Darnold be talked about in the MVP conversation? I'm not saying he should win, but talking about him in the conversation, I think is
Most
understandable.
valuable, you have a very good team.
We do.
Same thing. The same reason I wouldn't put Goff there because I would put Goff there maybe more than Sam. Just because if you take Goff off, like we haven't seen that Lions team without Goff. We've seen your team be competitive with other guys because KOC is a really good fucking coach. But I don't know that I'd have any conversation about
it. Depends on how large your playing field is for MVP. I think if we're talking about 6 to 7 players who could be talked about as the MVP, I think he's in the conversation at that point. If we're talking about only 3, then yeah, I don't think he should be involved.
Probably down to no more than 5 at this point.
And I think that he might be fringe in that conversation. Like I said, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow would be if his team wasn't so terrible. It's tough to overlook that. But Saquon Barkley, and then the other 2 are Goff and Darnold at this point. That's kind of where the betting odds generally are. So I think it's a realistic conversation. Again, I'm not saying that he should win the MVP because I still see some of the issues that are there. He's a little bit slow to process things, but his confidence is growing. He's getting better with a lot of this stuff. I would.
KOC gives him answers right in front of his face. It makes it easy for him, bro.
For sure.
Yeah,
but like, I'm just saying now, as far as keeping him on the Vikings, it comes down to the financials for me at the end of the day. If we were to franchise tag him, I like it and I don't, because all that money comes off the books next year when he's franchised. But we could do the same plan that we were going to do this year. Start Sam, flip to McCarthy, and if you want, you can trade Sam in the middle of the year next year. But are you going to want to trade him if he's doing good? I don't know. There's a lot of questions with that, right? Like there's an option there. If he's willing to come in for a 2-year deal at a very team-friendly salary, like you could have way worse backups if McCarthy ends up starting at some point. Like,
what do you get in a comp pick though if he leaves?
Nothing. We're going to get nothing in a comp pick. We have had. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be looking at any sort of a comp pick for him.
I mean, because that would be the best way. If you can get a comp pick, that'd be great.
It'd be a 3rd round comp pick, right?
Yeah.
That's the highest it can get, which is essentially a 4th round pick. Which is not bad, but.
No, I mean, you're not giving up any assets.
If we were to franchise and trade him.
You cannot franchise him. He's a fucking quarterback. You're not going to franchise him at $50 million a year.
If a team is desperate enough.
Oh, and they're going to forego. We're going to transition tag him. You're going to do the full franchise tag. Ask for 2 first-round picks for Sam Darnold.
No, not a transition tag. We would just sign and trade. But again, look,
why would he do that?
It's a reality that I don't think is going to happen, because if he wants to go to a specific team or something like that, and we can basically block it by franchising him. Worst case, we have our quarterback for this year, and he has to put up another good year in order to hit the market the year after and get a good contract. So he's going to be playing for that big contract again. Or if there's a team that he wants to go to, then hey, we'll franchise you. you can go negotiate a new contract with them when you get there, but we're going to trade you for a second-round pick or something like that.
I love your business brain, bro, but the notoriously player-friendly Vikings are not going to do that to
I
Sam
know.
Darnold.
Yeah, I absolutely
Not
understand
going to
that.
happen.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be two options. Either we're going to let him walk or we'll sign him to a 3-year deal somewhere around 40 million, with maybe 60 to 70 of it guaranteed. The Baker Mayfield contract, I believe, was 32 or 35 million a year, with I want to say like 50 of it guaranteed for 3 years. So that's kind of your starting point, except for it's going to have gone up a little bit because the salary cap is boosted. So that's the possibility if we were to try to sign him to a somewhat longer term deal. But I think that, look, KOC drafted McCarthy. It's his guy. They have a lunch every Thursday. They've continued their development. I think KOC is a quarterback guru. I don't know how else to put it. He's going to be able to milk every little bit of talent out of the guys that are around him. And McCarthy's his guy going forward. It's just how soon is that going to happen? I don't know.
Buyer beware on Sam Darnold.
That's the thing is that unless you've got someone that can handle that, we've seen how he is with lesser coaching staff and with lesser rosters around him. Yes. So you got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
But enough about my Vikings. Look, I could gush about them. I'm super looking forward to our whiteout game this week versus the Bears, but we'll talk about that Sunday. It's a Monday night game for my Vikings, so everyone can sit down and watch my team with me.
Enjoy the Vikings.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the Saints and the Giants in New York, and the Giants pull a Giants and lose it at the end. Saints win 14-11. Giants had a chance there to tie it up, get their kick blocked. You see the defensive tackle jump over the line, block the field goal, and Brian Daboll looked like he was about to throw a fucking fit. Yeah, look, Giants are soft.
Yeah.
Soft tanking.
Fired, bro.
But their team was trying to at least keep them in it, and didn't work out.
Yeah, Daboll, I think, is going to get fired. It did not go well. But you know what they did do? They did cover.
Yes.
Because the Saints aren't very good. Drew Lock, once again, you cannot come out and have a performance like this after you're clamoring to get in the game under 50% completion percentage.
Leading rusher Drew Lock.
They cut the fucking guy that was throwing to Malik Neighbors and doing well. Now, granted, he was making a shitload more money than you, but they're still paying that guy to do that. Like, you're not playing well.
That guy, you mean the Vikings' next rehab project? Danny Dimes?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Vanilla Vic? Oh, God. I love it. God. Yeah, leading rusher Drew Lock.
Beware.
Not having a good
day.
And a half. Yeah, but look, big losses for the Saints in this one. Their season was already generally lost at 5-8. They weren't technically out of it, but now Derek Carr out for weeks with injuries. Jake Hayner coming in. I don't expect good things from the Saints team going forward. It's definitely going to be influencing some of the betting that we have with them.
Listen, they already lost their biggest offensive weapon in fucking Taysom Hill, which is why I went with the Giants this week. And now they lose their starting quarterback. So they got no backup quarterback in Taysom Hill. No Derek Carr. Did fade the Saints probably the rest of the way.
Probably. All right. Next up, Carolina Panthers and Philadelphia Eagles, and our kiddies, the Panthers.
Man, they're playing tough, baby.
They're playing some tough fucking ball, dude. Like they lose this game 16-22, but the Eagles didn't like win this game in commanding fashion at all. The Panthers were in it, not winning at points, but I mean within a couple points at certain points in the game. No, they were winning in the third quarter. Yeah. Look, Bryce Young is doing good things. 19-34, 191 yards, a touchdown and an interception, but he is growing. He's getting way better to that average NFL quarterback. Not worthy of his pick, but he is getting better. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see him start to grow. Unfortunately, Jonathan Brooks goes down, non-contact, another ACL tear. Tough to see, especially when he's only been back a couple weeks. A bad way to start off your career, and it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths thinking that he's ever going to be able to become something.
Well, and Saints fans have obviously had a tough, I'm not Saints fans,
Panthers
fans.
Yeah.
I've had a tough few years with their draft picks. Bryce Young is starting to maybe have a turnaround to somewhat competent, but not the number one overall pick franchise quarterback guy that you thought. You go get a running back who you expect to be really explosive and now has had a second injury that is known to take explosivity away from a running back. I feel bad for them. They're playing scrappy. The coaching staff is getting a lot out of these guys right now. But I gotta ask, man, is Jalen Hurts just a handoff merchant now? Like, it feels like everything he's doing is some form of a handoff. The ball's not going down the field at all. I don't understand. Like, their offense works great. It works fine because Saquon's a fucking dog. But A.J. Brown is being wasted.
I mean,
is being wasted with this offense right now.
Yeah, and Goddard's down on IR. Look, I would like to say, like, hey, they don't have to be a passing team because of how good they're running on the ground, but we really haven't seen them have too many games this year where they really attack via the air. And I think at some point in time, you're going to have to. That when you get into the playoffs, teams are going to find a way to shut Saquon down to an extent, and you're going to have to move towards a passing attack. You have all these weapons. We've seen Jalen Hurts be able to be a better passer in the past, but it seems like the last year and a half he really hasn't had to do very much of that. And yeah, handoff merchant. I'm not willing to say that yet because we've seen him perform in the past, but at some point in time, it feels like that skill is going to start to atrophy a little bit. Yeah, if I'm those receivers, like I'm happy we're winning, but I want to see some targets come my way, and it might create some more locker room strife.
Listen, they threw the ball 21 times, 14 completions, but they only got 100 yards passing. Yeah. Everything is short. It feels very similar to what was happening here in Cleveland with Deshaun. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case, but that cannot be a fun offense to watch from a passing perspective. Saquon does Saquon things, has a great day, but like we've seen A.J. Brown be frustrated with this offense and Jalen Hurts before. Devontae's been pretty good about not being too inflammatory about his targets, but these guys cannot be happy with their production. Hey, great win though, good win. Didn't cover. Appreciate the no cover as well. Saquon for MVP.
Yeah, he's got to be in the conversation. I think it's going to be tough
what is happening with this team in this offense. Saquon for MVP, man. Like,
look at what's happening with that Bills offense after a loss. Josh Allen had one of the most explosive fucking days. Yeah. Barely beating out my boy Sam Darnold's Nuke Darnold, as I'm going to start calling him now. But it's a different conversation for a different time. Next up, we have your Browns versus the Steelers. How did it go with George Pickens being out?
Well, we did a really good job in the pass defense. What we didn't do a good job of was holding on to the fucking football, as per usual with the Cleveland Browns this year. Listen, Russell Wilson did not have a good day. 15 to 26, 158 yards. Did get 2 touchdowns, but there was nothing really explosive about this Pittsburgh offense. This game was lost by Jameis Winston in the offense and the turnovers. Jameis threw 2 picks. One of them was really fucking bad, like on a dump little screen, like insanely bad pick. And then Kadarius Toney makes an appearance. Try to get the ball in his hands by putting him out there to catch it, which was our fucking first mistake.
Your first mistake was signing Kadarius Toney.
I understand it. Very true.
Oh,
listen, when he comes into the game, everybody knows what he's going to do. He's going to get the fucking ball and he's going to do an end around or a jet sweep or something like that because you can just fucking stick it in his belly and he can run and he's real fast. Problem is that everybody knows that's the play. So when you try to get the ball in his hands by throwing it to him or maybe, catching a kick, there's always an element of, oh, yeah, Kadarius Toney has fucking bricks for fingers and can't goddamn catch. So another fumble. We gave him short fields all day long, and that's why we lost this game.
Justin Hopkins didn't help. I know that you talked about maybe Hopkins shouldn't be on the team anymore. And I told you, John Parker Romo, my guy, he's out there. He's available, and the Patriots picked him up. So that's off the table for you.
That would have been nice. But we also signed Hopkins to an extension this offseason.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough thing to do with kicker.
Kicker money is kicker
I brought
money,
it up to our friend Jacob Roach over there at the Barking Browns. It's like, we're going to set a record for the most amount of dead cap. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going to set the record for the most amount of dead cap. I guarantee it.
The Saints are going to fight you on that one, but I could see it happening with some of the contracts you guys got going.
The Deshaun Watson contract after this year, because we're going to have him next year. 2026, you're going to see a dead cap like you've never fucking seen before, bro.
Alrighty. Well, Steelers get the best of your Browns there, 27-14. Moving on, Raiders and Buccaneers. Buccaneers get the win, 28-13. They are now in first in the NFC South. You can thank my Vikings. And I'm not sad about it, but like as of right now, if the Vikings maintain their 5th seed, they would be going up against that NFC South opponent, because the NFC South in general kind of sucks compared to the other divisions. And we'd have to be playing Tampa Bay. I would rather play the Falcons, I think, in our first round after that performance that they put up than Tampa Bay. Not that Tampa Bay exactly scares me, but Baker can be kind of wild with it. 3 touchdowns in this game, 2 interceptions. Like, he's a fun quarterback, but like he's gonna have some of those days where he's just kind of fucking slinging around, and you're gonna get some interceptions,
high variance,
and some fumbles.
How much fun and how many games you could possibly win in the NFL when you have one of those high variance quarterbacks: Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston.
Yeah. But look, they did enough to get the win. I know that people were upset about Bucky Irving. Talks about him not really getting to play. Only 4 carries, 3 yards. Rachaad White had himself a decent little day, 17 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown. But overall, good day from Jalen McMillan.
Did they ever get an explanation as to why Bucky was so limited?
So he was questionable up until the day before the game, I believe, and then pulled him off the injury report. And then there were reports right before the game like, hey, he might not play. And so I think that he was limited because of that injury that they pulled the injury designation from, which the league will probably have to question, like, why did you pull the injury designation?
Right.
Now he's injured, which will get pushed under the rug because that's just what NFL does and NFL teams do. But look, a good day from Rachaad White, decent day from Sean Tucker, 3 carries, 47 yards. He's been someone that Bucs fans that I know have been a fan of is Sean Tucker. They want to get rid of Rachaad White to see a 2-man tandem between Tucker and Bucky Irving. And then another good day from Jalen McMillan, the rookie, 59 yards, 4 catches, and 2 tutties. So hopefully potential replacement going forward for Godwin after that pretty terrible injury. Another injury, though, Aiden O'Connell going down. Des Ridder going to be the starter going forward, it looks like.
Yeah, this is fade the Raiders for the rest of the way probably as well. Listen, the Raiders weren't playing bad in this game. Aiden O'Connell goes down, and it kind of took a whole nother turn. You saw after the half, only a scrape, 3 points. Sincere McCormick, still all-world name, by the way, Sincere McCormick, continuing to be the lead back. The Raiders are just in a bad spot. They're going to be in the search for a quarterback of some kind, whether it's via trade, because there will be a couple guys. We keep bringing up Kirk Cousins' name. Could also look in the draft. They're going to be on the look for a new head coach, I think, as well. The injuries have not helped, and this roster isn't great by any means. Like, you trade away a Devontae Adams. Like, your only real big offensive weapon is a rookie tight end. So this offense was kind of doomed from the start. But I think AP is going to lose. It's going to fall on him. That's what's going to happen here. And it sucks because it was a really cool story. That, they kind of were rallying around this guy after the terrible coaching that they have had prior with the fucking retreads. They get somebody in, a player, former player, player's coach, and just it's not working. And it sucks for the Raiders fans.
Yeah.
I wanted the story to work. I really did.
Think about being able to sell not only just to a rookie quarterback that you bring in, but to a new head coach. Would it be better to be able to sell them like, hey, we have Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers, or just Brock Bowers? That's kind of the shitty part. They traded Brock Bowers, and I get it. They got picks for him, but like, are those picks really going to matter? You've got one offensive weapon right now on this team that's kind of legitimate, and then a lot of question marks. It'll be interesting to see how things move going forward.
And that's the thing. Who's going to want to coach this team if they do fire Antonio Pierce?
I think Vegas is an interesting spot because people like the
Vegas.
glitz and glam of the Vegas. They like the fan base. Having Brady as being a part of that ownership is probably
That's
something
true.
that
That is
people are going to be like, I would like to side myself with. And then you are going to have an opportunity, more than likely, to have one of the top couple picks and get your choice of a quarterback if you want one in this draft. So we'll see. All right, next up, Seahawks and Cardinals in Arizona. Seahawks, they got the Cardinals numbered, man. I was telling you, they are good against the Cardinals, and they're good against them in Arizona. And it doesn't help when you have a bunch of turnovers. Kyler Murray getting a couple interceptions, and just an overall kind of blah day where they're not really hitting their offensive weapons other than Trey McBride on the Cardinal side. And over for the Seahawks, look, Zach Charbonnet, my guy, stepped in, had himself a hell of a day, 134 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, and then another 59 through the air, all around back. JSN had himself a breakout game in this one too, 5 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown, looking really good. It was just a lot of offense from that Seahawks team, and those turnovers really killed the Cardinals on offense.
Yeah, man. Kyler the last couple of weeks has been fucking careless with the ball. I talked about it when they were playing you guys. He threw you guys a couple of fucking gifts. And we see a similar trend this week. And then Kyler doesn't take sacks very often, but when Kyler does take sacks, Kyler typically takes some big-ass sacks because he's trying to break free. Super, super explosive player. Wildly inconsistent. And you can win a lot of games, but I don't know if you can win the most important games at the most important times with that kind of play. Like Kyler looks he looks healthy, looks explosive, but the decision making and the overextension has been glaring the last couple of weeks, in my opinion.
I still think that there's got to be a finger being pointed a little bit at Drew Petzing for this one. Look, Drew Petzing was kind of a hot name coming into this year, offensive coordinator, because the Cardinals vastly outperformed what people expect them to do last year. And then you add some more offensive pieces, and they're kind of performing like they did last year. If we thought this was going to be a 2-win team, they're still overperforming right now on offense. They're looking decent, but I think that they've hit their ceiling. Like, you took one of the best wide receivers in this draft in Harrison, and he's kind of an afterthought, it feels like, where you see other guys like Neighbors showing up game in and game out, regardless of quarterback. And that's because they've got good offensive coaching there from Dable, and it's with bad quarterbacks, I think that there's something to be said about the fact that they are not getting the ball to all of their offensive weapons. Part of that has to go on to Kyler, but part of it has to go on to the offensive system. You should find ways to feed the ball to Harrison.
Yeah. Charbonnet, great day though. Listen, I was not as high on Charbonnet as you were. There are times where when him and Kenneth Walker are both in there, he just doesn't get going. He's a guy that's got to get carries from the start and go all throughout the game. Great day for him. Good for him. I don't know that it works. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet on the same team at the same time.
Yeah, Charbonnet's kind of
effectively when they're both healthy.
Walker is not much of a receiving back. Charbonnet can be, and showed that in this game. But that's the thing is, like, if Charbonnet is the only guy out there getting all the targets, then you're going to see the boon from the receiving and rushing. if he's just the receiving back, you don't get him going as much. You're not going to see as much production. So, yeah, I agree. Like, he's going to play second fiddle to Kenneth Walker unless Kenneth Walker keeps getting these injuries, and then Charbonnet is going to be seeing a lot more play. Yeah. But we can move on to our next one. Really fun game here.
Wild
Bills
game,
and Rams. 42-44, came down to the end, to the wire. I called it. Look, McVay finds a way. He finds a way to coach his team. And look, Puka Nacua looked fucking great. Cooper Kupp looked great. You saw a really good day from Kyren Williams. Matt Stafford, 23 of 30 for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. No interceptions in this game. I don't think there were sacks in this game. That was something that they kept on talking about.
Fucking scoring the ball, dude.
Tons of offense, very little defense. And it was a fun game to watch if you like explosive offensive football. Like I said, the game that Josh Allen had, I think still helps like after a loss to still be promoted possibly higher in the MVP conversation. 3 touchdowns in the air, 3 touchdowns rushing, 82 yards as a runner alone, and 342 yards to the air. That if that's not MVP caliber football, I don't know what it is. And it's not like it's necessarily like this is an outlier game for him, but it's not that far off the margin from what he kind of can consistently put up. I posted on the Lineman Lounge Facebook page today. He is being talked about as a Hall of Fame running back if he were a running back. He's putting up numbers that are the same as O.J. Simpson and whatnot. Like, he's putting up insane numbers as a runner. And then you add on the fact that he's playing quarterback and putting up crazy fucking stats too.
We have seen Lamar win MVP award because of the ability to run and to throw. Josh Allen is having one of those types of years. He goes for 420 yards, 6 total touchdowns. That's an absurd day. Those are fucking Madden numbers. The leading rusher for his team, he's caught a touchdown pass this year as well. He's doing it every which way possible. What really is disappointing, though, is how poorly the Bills' defense played in this game. I know they're banged up a little bit, and I know this Rams team is getting healthier, but holy fuck. They got to be better than this late in the year. This Bills team cannot be giving up 44 points this late in the year.
Yeah.
If they're going to compete for a fucking championship, if Josh Allen is going to get over this hump, if he's going to get farther into the fucking postseason, if he's going to knock off a Pat Mahomes, you got to win games when you score 42 points. You cannot fucking lose if you score 42 if you're a Bills fan.
I think I said it before, but I feel like there's something to this Bills defense playing outdoors. They play better outdoors and in the elements. Just my thought.
Fucking Super Bowls damn near indoors every year now.
Right. And that's the thing is that like they're obviously probably going to have home field advantage through the playoffs until they come up to a Chiefs team, unless the Chiefs start dropping games, and then the Bills could have home field advantage the whole time. But like they are probably going to be playing in Buffalo a lot, which is going to benefit that defense and their style of football. But then you get them out on a dome in turf in better weather, and it opens the offenses up a little bit more. That defense doesn't play as well. I think there might be something to that. And it's something to kind of watch going forward to depending on who they end up having to play in the playoffs. Where this
I'm telling you right now, we get a fucking Bills Lions Super Bowl. Lions playing indoors. Oh, I mean, I love Josh Allen.
That's going to be an explosive offensive game because that Lions defense is susceptible, right?
Exactly.
They're hurt. They're susceptible. That Bills defense is susceptible, especially indoors. And both teams are able to put up a shitload of points.
Super Bowl.
It'd be a lot of fun. We'd have to find a way to make that drinking game fucking simmered down because I don't know that I could like take a shot of Malort for every fucking touchdown or point scored or something like that. So like that would be nuts in that one. And I think that's what most of the U.S. is rooting for right now is that Lions Bills Super Bowl. Of course, I'd like to see my Vikings make it, but I didn't expect us to make the Super Bowl this year, so I'm okay with the playoffs and maybe a win or two in the playoffs. That'd be cool. But look, awesome game, a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
brings up some question marks though about that Bills defense for sure. Next up, Bears go into San Francisco. San Francisco just kind of puts the hammer down, despite their running back injuries. Gren a good day. Purdy has himself a good day. Kittle, Jawan Jennings, all these guys have good days on offense. And the Bears, I think, had like 4 offensive yards at half or something. Just looked terrible. 17 to 23 for Caleb Williams, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thomas Brown not being up in the box calling plays actually looked like it hurt them in this one. Like, as bad as Eberflus is, like, I think you're putting Brown into a tough spot being the interim head coach. They did not look good kind of in any facet in this game.
No. So obviously Eberflus was a huge problem, but I think there's a lot of coaching problems. I think everybody's getting the house is going to be completely cleaned. Somebody new will be coming in. But I think there's some questions that you're going to have to start asking, very serious ones about Caleb Williams.
Are you hurting him?
Well, it's not even that are you hurting him. Sure, you're probably hurting him. What is he trying to do? I don't know that he understands what the concept of the offense is. He is holding the fucking ball longer than Deshaun Watson was, and that's bad. That's really, really, really bad. Normally, you get rookies and they're a little gun shy, or they get, if they're bad, they're behind bad offensive lines. I understand Caleb is a special athlete, or at least was a very special athlete at the collegiate level. This is the fucking men's league, though, and you're holding the ball way too long. 7 sacks in this game. Not all of those are on that offensive line. Now, granted, his offensive line is not great. The offensive coaches have not done a great job, but this is a continued trend throughout the entire season. Caleb is not getting the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, it's true. And look, we're going to get to see this Bears team go into Minnesota on Monday night this week. I feel like they're vulnerable at this point, especially with how bad of a game they just had. We've already seen each other once, so it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. One positive note, I guess, if we want to hunt for the good stuff here in the Chicago Bears, my guy.
Get some fucking MRT training in while we're talking.
Absolutely. My guy, punter Tory Taylor out of Iowa, the Hawkeye, 6 punts, 316 yards. Great punting day for him. It's sad when that's positive that you find. Sunday Night Football, Chargers, Chiefs.
Ball, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude's a good punter. It's kind of going to make you question about, Caleb Williams' comments to him, like, glad you're on the team. You're going to not have to do a whole lot this year. Well,
good thing I practiced anyway, Caleb.
Yeah. Put him in at quarterback. See how Tory Taylor does. That'd be fucking fun. Sunday Night Football, Chargers and Chiefs. Chiefs get the win in this one, 19-17. A close game there. Chiefs always find a way to eke it out at the end.
Yeah. Listen, that's what they are. They're good enough to win. The Chiefs are good enough to win. Don't bet the Chiefs. I'm sorry that I did it to you. That I convinced you to go the other way because I said that there's no way the Chiefs were going to cover.
Yeah. I thought there was a chance that the Chiefs were going to score more.
Now that it's not a Sunday, there's no chance the Chiefs are going to cover. Do with that what you will. Like, it's become obnoxious. 0-11 or some shit. I saw some crazy fucking stat. 0 for their last 11 against the spread.
Something like that, yeah. But they're also like 10-1 straight up or something.
Yes.
So
the Chiefs don't cover. I'm sorry I said it. I'm sorry I ruined that for you. Could have had a great day. Could have been 9-4.
I still had a pretty decent day. I'm happy with the record. Went positive. Yeah, not much else to say there. Look, the Chargers kept it close. Chiefs always just find a way to kind of eke it out there at the end. Monday Night Football, we saw Bengals playing the Cowboys last night. A closer game than I expected. It took some wild plays at the end, specifically.
Sizlak's a fucking dog, dude.
A blocked punt that was then fumbled and recovered by the Bengals, allowing them to toss the ball to their guy, Jamar Chase, get themselves a win, 27-20. Completely dejected Cowboys players in this one, specifically Micah Parsons. Doesn't help that Demarion Overshown, their kind of standout young linebacker, goes down. Terrible knee injury, MCL, ACL, PCL, all torn. Major reconstruction having to happen. Sorry to see that. That's fucking terrible. But look, Bengals, their offense is able to go out there and perform. Saw a little bit of life from that defense from the Bengals, but nothing that I'm going to kind of bang the table and be like, hey, they're back. They're still not too good. Lou Anarumo's job is as hot as it can be.
Yeah, so the Bengals aren't great. Cowboys lose a wild game. I'm sure Micah Parsons is not necessarily rooting for everybody to come back now, because how do we not know that that's what's going to happen if we touch that ball, touch that punt? That's a coaching error, special teams coach. But I got to tell you, like I said, Mo Sislak, dog, Ralph Wiggum, fucking dog. If you didn't check out the
Bart Simpson to Lisa Simpson for the final touchdown.
Yeah,
dogs.
crazy. Yeah. We have to stop, bro. I appreciate trying to get the kids involved. I really do. I really, really do. It's important. But it's not watchable. And it feels like everything is already pre-cut, which makes it feel even more awkward watching it. Like the cutaways to claymation looking Stephen A. Smith. They're fucking weird. And then it sounds pre-recorded. Like, I don't know how we're getting that voice, because it doesn't sound like Stephen A. Smith, but it does sound like Stephen A. Smith. I don't like it. However, I do like the AI, like where you get the clips of Most Islak, dude. I've seen some fucking clips of him. Absolute dog on TikTok.
Yeah. Look,
outside of that, we got to stop with these things, though.
I don't have a problem with it because personally, I don't have to watch it.
That's true.
If I don't want to.
Right. I'm being a negative little bitch about it.
And
let's just watch a normal game.
If it helps grow the brand or get kids into football, it could be a soft entry for them. And they haven't done, like, the Simpsons thing is brand new. They've done the Nickelodeon games before, which are kind of fun. I think a better production than this one. But, like, if it gets the kids into it, then cool. And they're only going to get better if they continue trying to do this. Like, this was their first attempt at this sort of shit with the Simpsons stuff. It's only going to get better. When's the one that they're doing that's Madden? Is that next week?
I don't know, dude. I can't keep up with all of the different.
Either way, like, they're trying different things. I'm not going to fault them for trying different things to try to grow the brand and bring more people into the sport. And they're not all going to be a success, but they can get better. I like that they're trying to branch out and bring. Look, I pulled it up for like 30 seconds, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to watch this. I'm going to actually watch it again." But that's the beauty of it. I don't have to watch it. It's not. They're not forcing me. That's not the only broadcast. Toy Story. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Toy Story one was fun. But look, it's not the only broadcast. I'm not having to watch it. I can still. I like that we have three options. Essentially, we got the regular broadcast, Manning cast, and a kids cast. So that's cool to me. But yeah, I don't think it was good by any means. It's pretty awful, actually.
It was terrible, dude.
It's terrible.
You know what? Applaud the effort. Get the kids involved. I'll quit being a negative little bitch about it. But
yeah,
Junior, you like football? Don't watch that shit.
All righty. Well, that wraps it up for our games in week 14. You ready to talk about our last one here Thursday night coming up for week 15?
Hell yeah. Let's do this. Good game. Good game this week, isn't it?
Yeah. Rams at the 49ers.
Yeah.
Rams 7-6, 49ers 6-7. San Fran right now is the favorite in this one, minus 2.5 points at minus 115 odds, or you can give the points to the Rams minus 105 odds. Like the Rams, they hung it out, duked it out there with the Bills.
Yeah.
And San Fran looked pretty good as well, despite not having their top two back. That's the thing, is they were playing the Bears. 2.5 points. I could see this game being right around a field goal. Where are you going in this one, Mike?
So with it being a divisional game, it's gonna be close. anytime you're talking close divisional games, I lean towards wanting to take the points. The Rams, their offense is really playing well. This 49ers team has been up and down, and they beat a Bears team. Like, the Bears are not good. The Bills are pretty fucking good, though, and the Rams come off of that. Do I think do I worry about a little bit of a hangover? No, not necessarily, because Sean McVay is a damn good coach. So I'm gonna go with the points and the Rams here in a close late season matchup. Anytime I start taking a lot of points here at the end of the year, so I'm gonna stick with that trend. Rams plus 2.5.
All righty. And look, right now this NFC West is kind of up for grabs. Seattle is ahead, 8-5. They're ahead by 2 games, but the Rams are 7-6. They're right behind them. Realistically, both the Cardinals and 49ers at 6-7, they aren't out of it. They can make a run here, but their odds are not doing very good. I think that it's a game for the 49ers where they feel like they've got to get a win to kind of have the season be relevant. And the 49ers, the best part of the team right now is the offense. They're going up against a Rams defense that will allow a lot of points. I know that Joe Rockstar likes to talk about San Fran when they go into LA, that it is basically 49ers Stadium.
Right.
You know that this game being in San Fran, it's not going to draw in more Rams fans necessarily. It's just going to be all 49ers. They're going to have a nice home field advantage there. I like where you're going with this one, though. I like giving the points to the Rams, but I'm going to ride with Joe Rockstar and his 49ers unless he jumps in here and gives me some fucking stat why I shouldn't take him. Look, the Rams offense, I think that I thought that they were going to be able to hold up decent to the Bills. I didn't expect them to beat them. I absolutely did not expect this fucking sort of wild show that we saw from both those teams, though.
Right.
That was crazy. But we got the Rams going out playing on grass in a hostile environment. I'm gonna say on a short week, there might be a little bit of a hangover in this one with how many points are scored and how much action there was. So I'm going to take the San Fran, drop the points here, the 2.5. I like your play. It's kind of the way that I want to go, but something's telling me in the plum is to go with the 49ers in this one.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, your Thursday night games have turned around recently. You are on a 4 straight week. So you get this one, it'll be 5. So your Thursday night picks have turned around.
It has worked out a little bit for me.
I remember early in the year, you couldn't pick a Thursday night game to save your fucking life.
Yeah, Thursday night sucked balls, but hey, we're doing good now.
Absolutely. My brother, I think that's it. We got no other news. Let me make sure that nothing crazy has happened while we've been recapping week 14. The Yankees keep buying people. Other than that, I mean, not much.
Soto.
Yeah, not Soto. He goes over to the Mets for like $5 million more.
The amount of copium I've seen from Yankees fans and stuff like that being like, it's a good choice that we didn't do this. And he's not Aaron Judge and it's okay. You know, okay.
I mean, Juan Soto's really good at baseball. Like, he's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that contract is absurd.
Oh, for sure. More than Shohei?
Yeah, more than Shohei. It's absurd.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen. Good for Juan Soto, baby. Team player on this show. Get your money. I cannot fault you. Get your money because the game will pass you by and they will forget about you. So get that shit while you can.
For sure. I'm not going to get angry at a guy for making a dime unless you're Kirk Cousins trying to steal it from my Vikings and play mediocre football.
Yeah.
Bye, bitch.
It is weird how it's always about when it's your team, you're like, man, fuck that guy. Because listen, if we could find a way to dump this Deshaun money, man, I'll be all on board for that.
Yep.
But listen, when you think about it, it's a great business deal for Deshaun.
Yeah, I mean,
can't fault him for
that.
I can't fucking fault him for it.
Not at all. If someone's going to give you free money to not be good at football, fuck yeah. I'll do that right now.
Take that shit. Yeah, you have to, right? So
yeah. Fade into obscurity.
Yeah.
Living on a yacht, getting massages.
That's a great way to wrap up today's show. Guys, This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. We come to you guys every Tuesday with a recap. Sunday mornings, we'll be back this week to pick every game for week 15. But if you want to interact with our show, go to any one of the places below. X, Facebook, TikTok. We got the call line open during shows. And then please head on over to the YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe over there. It would mean a great deal to us. We are working our way to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So every single subscriber we get is one step closer to that. All it takes is a little bit of your time. And we know that time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give a little bit of it to us, we are forever grateful. But with that, we are going to get out of here. Evo, give the people one last word.
Up in Minnesota, we'll never forget you, Kurt, but Sam Darnold for MVP.
Saquon for MVP. But that's it. We're getting the fuck out of here. I'm Mike. That is Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. We'll see you guys on Sunday. See you.